deal is many of us were only taught pretty much one way to have our money work. And that is by opening up a checking account and filling up that bucket with your money. Okay, so let's say you fill up your checking account with your money each and every month. And then what happens is throughout the month, right? Throughout the month, let me get my eraser here. Throughout the month, the money just goes out paying your bills. And you get to the point where sometimes, like me, okay, we had very little in our bucket, very stressful times where we're like, how are we gonna pay these outside bills because I don't have anything in my bucket, okay? So then we had to wait for the next paycheck to fill our money bucket up again, to only say, oh, it's going to go rapidly. We have to pay our mortgage. We have to pay for gas. We have to pay our student loans back. We have to buy groceries, right? And so it was this up and down, up and down, up and down cycle. Here is the quick thing that I want to bring you some inspiration, right? 'Tis the season. I'm a little goofy. I am a middle school teacher, not in middle school, but I do teach middle schoolers. So I can do the crazy stuff, right? But I just want to offer you some hope, because it's the season of believing, and I want you to believe that it is possible to maybe just have your money flow a different way and open up, you guys, a whole new world and a whole new way to run your money, to not feel like the bucket's filled and then it's quickly gone. Because the money flow system that I was taught and that I want you to begin to understand is that when you break from this cycle of just filling up the checking account and then watching your money just go out, 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 and you can never use that money again, right? That you just spent out. It's not like I can call my mortgage company and say, hey, I just paid the mortgage, but I actually need some money. We just had a family emergency. Can I please have that money back? That doesn't happen, right? So when I began to learn that my money, instead of putting it in the never-ending bucket that just keeps needing to be refilled, right? And I started to not see credit as the enemy, but to see lines of credit as tools that could help me. And I began to open up my mindset, because I was trained for over a decade. My husband and I were living on the beans and rice. We were doing every snowball method we could, but we just kept finding ourselves, as soon as we would pay down a debt, here comes another one. Now, I do believe that philosophy works for many, many, many people. But we felt like we weren't living anymore. We felt like we couldn't go on vacation. We felt like we couldn't experience these times with our kids when they were younger and have the Christmases we wanted and have the things that we wanted to be able to do, like live, right? We felt like we couldn't do that. And so if you watch some of my previous videos, we got this big $10,000 IRS bill that sent me in a whole downward spiral. And in my little pity party days where I was just like, I am so sick and tired of this, I picked myself back up and I had poured my heart out to God, and I said, there has to be a better way. And I truly am a firm believer that when you set your intention and you say, I want to find a different way, that the universe, that God, the alignment is going to start happening for you. And so I spoke and I asked and I said, God, show me a different way. And literally within a day or two, I came across this new way that I'm like, how were we never taught this before? So instead of seeing the lines of credit that the banks offer us as just another way to get in debt and stay in debt and pay bills, right? Because we are trained, if I can afford it, then I can get it and I'll just pay the payment. And we're stuck in the cycle of pay the payment. Yep, I can pay the payment. All right, good, I can get it. Now I'm gonna add that to my payment list. Now I have another payment that I have due every single month. Learned what we decided to use at first was called a home equity line of credit. From using our checking account as our primary source where our income went, to start using the HELOC, the line of credit that we got from the credit union, And that line of credit, able to get about $40,000 a line of credit from our equity in our home that was just sitting there not being utilized. And when we were able to get access to that line, oh, that's backwards, okay, to that line of credit, look at that, to that line of credit, all right, and we began to utilize this and not to go into more debt, but to begin to flow our money differently, okay? To flow it. Money is meant to move. Money is not meant to just stay put. It is energy if you really think about it. Like nowadays, we can just tap a phone and we can make a payment like boom, in a heartbeat. I mean, it's just energy being exchanged back and forth, right? It's a currency. It's meant to flow. And when I began to open up my mind, that was a huge shift, because I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I've had mindset shifts, it's when I've hit absolute rock bottom and I need a different way. Well, I had hit that. And so I was open, okay? I had to let go of I had to unlearn that credit is terrible, that credit is bad. I had to unlearn that. And I had to begin to learn a new way to think about these lines of credit.